Well, hello and welcome to the Web Monkey Show. My name is Alex, and today I have yet another security tutorial for you. Specifically, I'm going to be showing you how you can add the two-factor authentication method on your WordPress website. Now, this is a follow-up tutorial to the one I did 2 days ago where I was talking about WordPress security in general, providing you with a few tips on how you can enhance the security of your WordPress website. And I felt that it would be great if I also showed you how you can add two-factor authentication, because that was one of the tips that I said it will be a great idea if you can configure two-factor authentication methods on your WordPress website. So today I'm going to show you how you can do that. Now, typically when people say two-factor authentication, most times they're typically referring to you receiving some sort of SMS code on your phone, and then you'll have to provide that code in addition to providing your regular username and password. But for the purposes of today's video, I'm not going to show you the SMS code variation, because SMS isn't exactly the most reliable way of going about this. A lot depends on the country you're in, your telecommunications provider, and some other factors. So I'll be walking you through instead how you can use the Google Authenticator app. I'll show you how you can use email verification links, and also how you can use knowledge-based questions to configure your two-factor authentication method. And then as a bonus, at the end of this video, I will show you how you can also configure two-factor authentication methods using the Wordfence security plugin. I made an extensive tutorial a few months ago on how to use Wordfence, but at the time, the ability to configure 2FA, two-factor authentication, was not yet available with the Wordfence security plugin, but now it is. So as a bonus, I'm going to show you how you can do that with the Wordfence security plugin in case you are a Wordfence security plugin user. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. All right, so the plugin we're going to be using to set up two-factor authentication on our WordPress site will be the Google Authenticator plugin by Mini Orange. There's another Google Authenticator plugin out there, so be careful when you're installing this particular plugin. It's by Mini Orange. So over here on my site, I do have the plugin already installed. You can see the tab right here, Mini Orange two-factor. So I'm going to click on it. And then right in here right now, I'm being asked to configure the Google Authenticator app on my phone. But let me just do this first of all. I'm going to go ahead now and just click on End Tour. So in here right now, under our free plan, these are the 5 different types of our two-factor authentication methods that we can enforce. So what I want to do right here is to first of all configure the one for the Google Authenticator. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead now, click on configure. All right. So in here right now, you'll have to register or create an account with them first of all. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add my email. First of all, alex@webmonkeyonline.com. And then I'll just simply go ahead and add my password and just register with them. Continue. Wait for a few more seconds. And okay, so there you go. I have successfully created my account with them. So in here right now, step 1 is to set up the Google Authy or LastPass Authenticator. So you've got 3 different apps that you can actually install on your phone. I prefer the Google Authenticator, but you can always go with the Authy Authenticator or LastPass. It all depends on you. So with the Google Authenticator in here right now, what I'm simply going to do here is I'll just go ahead, change this name to Google Auth. It's not compulsory, but hey, you know, it's still nice to have your own custom name. So I'm going to go ahead now and save my app name. And now we'll have to scan this code with our phone. Okay, so I'm back, and this is my phone right now. So you can see I do have the Google Authenticator app already installed on my phone and ready to go. So when you launch it, you're going to see something that says begin on the blue screen. So just click on begin, and then you'll see the option to scan a barcode. So that's what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead now, click on scan a barcode, and then my camera is on, as you can see. So right now I'm going to go ahead now and point it at the barcode on my computer. And right there you can see I do have the code that's been generated, and then an account has been created. So I'll have to go ahead now and click on the blue button that says add account. So I'm going to go ahead now and I've added the account, and there you go. So I've been given 6 numbers. So I'm going to go ahead now, go back to my screen, and where you have the verify and save, I'm going to go ahead now and type in the code, which is 858 and then 561. Go ahead now, verify and save. And let's just wait for a few seconds for it to verify. And there you go. So right now you can see that the Google Authenticator has been configured. So let's just go ahead now and test and make sure that it's actually working. So what I'm going to do right now is in here you will see the checkbox here that says enable 2FA prompt on the WP login page. So I'm going to go ahead now and check that box, and let's go ahead now and simply log out. All right, we're going to go ahead now and log out, and let's see if this actually works. So I'm logged out, and now you can see that I now have to add my 2-factor authentication code before I can gain access. If I try to log in without the code, it's not going to work, you can see. So I'm going to have to go ahead now and add the code, which is on my phone. Note though that on your phone, you will see like a time. Oh, sorry about that. I got a notification from YouTube. Okay, you might notice that there's kind of like a timestamp just next to the numbers. That's basically, I think it lasts for like 1 minute. So every minute the code is going to change on your phone. So right now I do have a different code, which is now 718 and then 368. So I'm going to go ahead now and log in, and there you go. I have successfully logged in using the Google Authenticator app. Jumping back to our back end, you can also configure the mini orange soft token, the mini orange QR code authentication, and even the mini orange push notification as well. They all act very similar to the Google Authenticator, so I'm not going to spend time walking you through on how to set up these 3. But let's take a look at setting up the security questions. Now in here, you can see that it says reconfigure. That is because off screen, I already tested this out. So that's why you're seeing reconfigure as opposed to configure. So if you're trying to do this for the very first time, you should see configure and not reconfigure. I just wanted to let you know. So I'm just going to pretend like I'm configuring this for the very first time. So I'll click on reconfigure. So in here right now, we can add questions, all right? We already have some pre-filled questions, if you will. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose what was your childhood nickname? And I do have Rambo as my answer. And then my favorite sport is going to be chess. That's my favorite sport. And then my custom question here was what is your favorite food? In this case right now, it's going to be rice. Rice is one of my favorite foods. What is your favorite food, by the way? I'm going to go ahead now, click on save. And okay, so right now, just because we have recently just configured security questions, you can see right now that it's set in green, which means this will now be the default two-factor authentication method. But if you want to stick with the Google Authenticator, you can just simply click on set as two-factor. And then you will see that Google Authenticator is now the default 2FA. But let's check out the security questions as the 2FA method. So I'm going to set security questions back again as the 2-factor. And then let's go ahead now and let us log out and make sure this actually works. All right, so I'm going to try and log in once again. So, all right, so in here right now, I do have the questions, all right? What's your favorite food? Mine is rice. Childhood nickname was Rambo. I'm going to go ahead now, validate. And there you go. So I've successfully gained entrance into my back end. So that's it for the free version of the Mini Orange 2-factor. You can actually upgrade your plan and get even more custom methods of 2-factor authentication. So if you're interested, what you want to do here is go to the upgrade plans section. So in here right now, you have the standard, you've got premium, and you've got enterprise. For the purposes of this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and show you what you can do with the standard method. So I'm going to go ahead now and simply click on upgrade. And all right, so you're seeing this error message because I believe it's because I already have an account with them. I've already paid for this particular upgrade, so I'm guessing that's why there's an error message. So let me just try to sign out. And let me just close this. Hopefully this should work. Let me just try again. click on upgrade. Okay, let me try to log in. Hopefully this should work. Log in. Come on, let's go. And okay, voila. So this is exactly what you should see when you're trying to upgrade from your free plan to a paid plan. So you've got the standard, premium, and then enterprise. I'm sticking with the standard. So basically over here, this is where you can choose how many users you want. I went with the 2 users, so it's just $5 for a whole year, which is just ridiculous, really. Over here right now, you can choose to uncheck this option if you don't want to use the OTP over SMS. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that one. And then for the rest in here, number of email transactions, you don't need to choose anything in here. Payment description, you can just type in something like payment for 2-factor authentication. And then you can just simply add your credentials and then simply click on pay now. Alright, so what you're looking at right now is the page that will be displayed once you have upgraded your license. So basically in here, you can see I've got my premium license. It's for the standard plan, 2-factor authentication for $5. So what I will need to do from here is just to go to the plugin releases and downloads and just click in there and then simply download the premium version of the plugin. So I'm going to go ahead now and download the plugin. And then once it's downloaded, I'll have to go back to my website, delete the free version, and then install this new version. Alrighty, welcome back. Now, as you can see, I do have the new standard Mini Orange 2-factor authentication plugin installed on my website. You can see right here, the version is the standard, while in here, the one just below is the free version. So I'm just going to go ahead now and delete the free version since I don't need it anymore. Let's go ahead now and configure the standard version. So just going to wait for a few more seconds for this to complete. It says deletion failed, whatever. Let's just go to our tab in here and let me show you how you can configure the standard version. So in here right now for support, you can add your email and then you can also add a phone number, add your query if you have any kind of question, and then simply submit. All right. So in here right now, no license key is required. I'm just going to go ahead, click on I understand. And then we'll have to log in with the account that we created initially, remember. So I'm going to add my email address and let me just add the password yet again and agree to the terms and conditions, which I never even read. I'm just going to go ahead and hit submit. And okay, so there you go. We have successfully logged in. So let's go over to the setup 2-factor. All right, I'm just going to go ahead now and skip the setup. So in here right now, you can see we've got additional ways of verifying our identity. You've got the phone call verification, OTP over SMS, and so on. In here right now, you've got the email verification, which is automatically being configured. What this simply does is that the plugin will simply look at the email address that we used to create an account and then simply use that email address to send the verification link whenever we try to log in. So let's do this, okay? I'm going to go ahead now and set email verification as my second factor. And okay, so it's set to green. So let's now test this out, okay? But before we do that, let's go to our login settings and just configure what we'll see when we try to log in. In here right now, you've got a very useful option of trying to add a custom redirect URL for specific roles. So this is good to have if you're interested. But now in here, you've got the option to enable mobile support. But note that if you're going to enable this option, security questions will be invoked as a second factor if anyone is trying to log in through a mobile browser. So make sure that you do in fact have your security questions configured. Now in here, you've got the select login screen options. There's actually 2 of them. I'm going to go with the login with password plus second factor. This is the recommended option and I would recommend that you go with it. And now in here, very, very useful. What happens if my phone is lost, discharged, or not with me? So you can enable the forget phone option. And in this case right now, the alternate login method will be set to the knowledge-based answers, KBA. So make sure, of course, again, that you have your security questions configured. And now in here, you do have the option of disabling the ability for users to change the name of the app for themselves if they wanted to. It's not terribly important, but I'll just keep that disabled. And then in here, you can enable the option to ask for permission from users. I'll recommend you do that just to make sure that you're GDPR compliant. And then, of course, this is the almighty checkbox. You want to make sure that this is enabled. Let's go ahead now, save our settings, and now let us log out. And let's go ahead now and test to see if we can log in with our email account. All right, so I'm going to try and log in right now. So I'm going to go ahead, hit log in. And now it says, okay, an email has been sent to alex@webmonkeyonline.com. We are waiting for your approval. So I'm going to have to go back to my account in here. And I'm just going to have to refresh. And hopefully I'll get the link very, 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 very shortly. Let me refresh again. Okay, there you go. So now you can see it says your requested one-time passcode. I'm going to click in there. And now in here, I can go ahead now and click on accept the transaction. And now if I go back to my site, it's going to automatically log me in. So that's exactly how this works. If we go back to the backend of our plugin, go back to setup two-factor, you also have a very, very similar option, which would be the OTP over email. But instead of a link, you basically will get a code that you'll have to manually type in. So it's very, very similar to the email verification. And now in here, the annoying thing though about switching from the free plugin to the paid plugin is that you will have to reconfigure your security questions all over again. So let's reconfigure this really quickly. Reconfigure. And okay, so again, let's just go ahead and fill this out very, very quickly. Rambo was my childhood nickname. My favorite sport is chess. Custom question: what is your favorite food? Question mark. Rice. Let's go ahead now and hit save. Okay, now that we've just configured the KBA, you can see right now that it's set to green, which means this would be our default two-factor authentication method. But let's go back now and set email verification as the two-factor, and then test to see if we can use the security questions as a fallback option. In this case, we don't have access to our phone, right? So I'm going to go ahead now and log out. Let me just go ahead and close this, close our email account. Okay, I'm going to try and log in again. So right now, it's asking for the link that will be sent to our email, but I'm going to pretend like, hey, we don't have access to our phone, we don't have access to our email account. So I'm going to simply click on didn't receive email. So right now you can see that the alternate method is to provide answers to our security questions. So my childhood nickname was Rambo, my favorite food is rice. Go ahead now, validate. And there you go. So now you can see we've successfully logged in using the alternate method. And again, this is why you really want to make sure that your security questions have been configured. So that's it for the Google Authenticator plugin. Let me now show you how you can configure the two-factor authentication method using the Wordfence security plugin. All right, so welcome back. Now let me show you how you can configure the two-factor authentication method using the Wordfence security plugin. If you don't know, a few months ago, I made an extensive tutorial on how you can use the Wordfence security plugin, which is one of my favorite security plugins for WordPress. But at the time, they had not yet released or added this feature where you can configure two-factor authentication. So I felt maybe it would be a good idea just to show you how to do that, in case you are a Wordfence user. So right now you can see that I do have Wordfence activated on my website. And you can see right now that I've also deactivated the mini orange authentication plugin. You don't want to have two authentication plugins running on your website at the same time. So to activate the 2FA on Wordfence, let's go to Wordfence in here, go to login security, And now you can see I do have my Authenticator app ready to go. So in here right now, I'll have to scan this code that you are seeing on my screen. So let's go ahead now and click on begin. And then I'll have to scan a barcode as usual. Let's go ahead now and scan that barcode. Okay, so I've gotten my numbers again, and now I'll have to add the account. Click on the blue button there to add the account. And okay, so let's come in here right now. Now in here, you can see I can add the code. So I'm going to go ahead now and add my code 004825. And let's go ahead now and simply activate. So it says, reminder, if you lose access to your Authenticator device, you can use recovery codes to log in. If you have not saved a copy of your recovery codes, we recommend downloading them now. So I'll recommend you do that actually. Let's go ahead, click on download. So it's going to be a text file, and those would be the codes that you can use to log in should in case you're having trouble logging in with your phone or something happens. So there you go. Right now it says Wordfence 2FA is active and is currently active on your account. You may deactivate it by clicking on the button below, or we could even generate new recovery codes if we wanted to. But let's go ahead now and test this out. I'm going to go ahead, simply log out. And let's try this one more time. I'm going to go ahead now and try to log in to my website. So the 2FA code it's requesting for, so I'm going to go ahead now and add my new code 174660. Go ahead now, hit login, and there you go. So that's how you can set up the Wordfence Securities two-factor authentication method on your website. Alright, so that's it for today's extensive tutorial on how you can add two-factor authentication methods on your WordPress website. It definitely helps to make your site more secure. It doesn't mean your site is going to be hacker-proof, but at least it makes it ever so more difficult for hackers to gain access to your WordPress website. So if you have any questions about this, be sure to put them in the comment section below. I'll do my very best to answer as many as I can. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, of course, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, share this video with anyone whom you feel might benefit from today's tutorial. My name is Alex. It's been a pleasure, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.